Hey everyone, welcome back to TOPHER Drives and welcome to what is a very gloomy day in southeastern Michigan, but lucky for us, it is being brightened by this Rosso Vincente 2022 Maserati MC20. Maserati's first mid-engine supercar since the MC12. And boy, am I glad that they have a supercar again, because this thing is an absolute riot. I've been driving it for the last 2 days. I drove one earlier in January in Los Angeles. That was a white car. We're gonna go for just a little bit of a back road blast in this car. But before we go out on the road, let's talk some basics, starting with what is under the hood, or the trunk in this situation, since this car is mid-engined. We'll take out our Maserati key fob, which feels very nice in hand. It's got some nice weight to it. I will say one thing Maserati always does right is their keys, and this is certainly no exception. We'll double press our button here and it'll have a bit of a delay. There we go. And we'll take a look what's under here. Well, first of all, we have a trunk, but what really matters is Nettuno, Maserati's hand-built 3-liter twin turbocharged V6, which in the MC20 makes 621 horsepower and 538 pound-feet of torque. That is mated to an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission, and of course, power is sent to the rear wheel. So quite the zesty supercar recipe, but honestly, V6s, in my opinion, are never super flamboyant, never super soulful. And it's kind of the same case here. You don't get a ton of exhaust noise or a lot of inspirational sound from Nettuno, but boy is it quick, boy is it torquey, and the fact that it's twin turbocharged kind of saves it, because all you really hear are the turbos, and you all will experience that once we get out on the road. And that reminds me, actually, I'm going to grab my earmuffs so we can roll the windows down and you all can hear the glorious twin turbo sounds. Now let's get on to the next party piece of the MC20, which is of course the butterfly doors. If you ever want people to look at you in a parking lot or make your life much less convenient with having to park very far away from anything, that being other cars, your garage, whatever, have yourself some butterfly doors, because they do the trick. But I will say they look fantastic, and oh my goodness, look at that. Yes, that is what a supercar should look like, and supercars should be impractical, and this MC20 certainly is that. Actually, before I shut this, let's pop the frunk and we'll see what we have under here. I actually haven't opened this yet, and I forgot what MC20s have under here, so we're going into this together. Okay. Little compartment here for toolkit, owner's manual, all that stuff. I wonder if maybe there's supposed to be a cover on this? Not sure. But of course, carbon fiber. Everything on this is carbon fiber, and it shows, especially when you get it from someone who hasn't been nice to it. Got a big chunk out of the splitter down there, so that's not too fun. Anyways, I just want to say, I think that this Maserati MC20 is one of, if not the best looking new car on sale today. I think it checks all the boxes for supercar formula. Rosso Vincente is a fantastic color to showcase this car in, with the black roof, the yellow calipers, the carbon fiber package. Everything just comes together in such a beautiful symphony, and oh my gosh. I got this car delivered to me yesterday, and it was pouring rain. In fact, this is the first time that the weather has let up in 2 days. So this thing's kind of just been sitting in my garage because it's a bit sketchy to drive in the rain. And admittedly, I was just in my garage staring at it because it's so stunning. I don't think they missed the mark on any design element of this MC20. It is just such a looker. I mean, this vent behind on the door here, I mean, look at that. And it's functional, you can see through it. Now, of course, before we get in the car, I just want to point out a couple things. This is still a Maserati, and with that, you do have a couple of quality issues. For one, I haven't gotten Apple CarPlay to work all day. I don't know what the issue is with that. But also, I've got little bits of paint bubbling here on the bumper. Now, this is a 4,000 mile press car, and it's over a year old. It's a 2022 model year. So we could assume that maybe it's been in a couple little fender benders, some bumps maybe, but that looks like just poor paint quality. And then also the inside of the taillights, as you can see here, appear to have been full of water at some point because they're very, well, moldy, it looks like, inside. And it's not just this taillight, it's this one too. So both taillights are suffering from this kind of white film inside of them. So not sure what that's about. Anyways, all right, we've spent enough time poking around the outside of the car. Let's hop in, start it up, and show you what's going on inside the MC20. Look at this carbon fiber. Oh my goodness. The whole door. Carbon composite, I think they call this. Oh, man. Okay, let's hop in, and there is a way to properly do this. I usually put my leg in first, put the butt in, swing the other leg over so we're not damaging our beautiful carpet here on the door sill. We're able to reach this handle, pull down, and the door shuts. Now, this car, unlike the one that we had in Los Angeles earlier this year, has memory power heated seats. So that's a good thing. Now, like I was saying, no real inspirational noise there from Nettuno, but she makes up for it in the power delivery. And we're going to start out today with a Ford Fusion pulling into the parking lot for one, but we're going to start out in GT mode because that is kind of the around town soft mode. But what I do like is that you have a few different modes here. We also have Sport and we have Corsa, if you hold it. That is the sort of race mode. We get a very cool looking cluster. We're probably not going to mess with that today. We'll stay in sport mode. What I like is we also have a suspension button here on our drive mode selector that puts you in soft damper mode, which means you can drive around with better throttle response, quicker steering, zestier gear changes, but you don't have to break your back. So that's very nice. We also have ESC off right here that goes with Corsa mode, and then we have a wet mode as well, which I don't think we'll need. I think the roads are pretty dry, but we're going to play it safe because the MC20 is a little bit sketchy. It's got a lot of power and not a lot of tire. So we're going to play it safe and just try and go and have a good time today. Now, this is a full-on supercar, in my opinion, and I think in likely everyone's opinion, and it has some things that are kind of normal inside of it, like this steering wheel, which is very familiar, looks like one from an Alfa Romeo, I'm sure it is, but it has lots of controls. You've got a volume slider here, your engine start stop button, you've got controls for your cruise control, and you even have a launch control button on here. We also have a very traditional infotainment display that, like I said earlier, has some trouble reconnecting to Apple CarPlay, but otherwise it seems to work okay. It's kind of just like a Stellantis infotainment, but unlike the Durango Hellcat, we don't have helmets on our little people in our climate control. But honestly, it works fine other than just not, and my phone's not even connected via Bluetooth now, so I guess it has pooped out on that as well. The only slight downside is that your climate control is in the infotainment, but we'll forgive it because there isn't much real estate in here to be able to move things around. We have the interior carbon fiber pack. That's a Focus ST driving by, and well, there's really not a ton in here besides what I've just shown you. It's pretty simple. Otherwise, you've got a little console right here to fit a couple of things. You've got a cup holder here to fit your earmuffs if you'd like, and a very small amount of storage behind the seats on a small parcel shelf. So I don't have the window sticker for this car. Maserati has not sent the build sheet yet. If I do get it, by the time this video goes live, I'll put the price right here. But if I had to guess, I would say this particular car is right in the $300,000 ballpark. The white car we had in Los Angeles was $315,000, I want to say, and that had a couple more options on it. So this one is probably just about, or maybe just under $300,000. All right, we spent enough time dilly-dallying. Let's get this MC20 out on the road. We'll take it for a scenic, rainy, drizzly drive. Of course, when I have an MC20, the weather has to be like this, but whatever. I'm not complaining. I have an MC20, so let's go out and let's go for a drive. Our shifter controls are these two buttons down here, as well as our paddle shifters. Right now we're in park. Press this button right here, puts you into drive. Press it again, it puts you in manual. We've got a button down here for reverse. That brings up our reversing camera, which is pretty high quality. And you have lines as well that swivel. You can hear our parking brake disengaging there. So that works pretty well. I have been driving this car in manual mode, and it's just kind of my preferred way to operate the MC20. The automatic mode does an okay job, but I'm in a supercar. I feel like I should be using these big column-mounted carbon fiber paddle shifters. So let's go ahead and get started. And we may actually sit here for a sec because I want to give these cars some distance from me. Another cool thing, hold both paddles, it puts you into neutral like a proper supercar. All right, there's nobody behind us, so I want to demonstrate. Well, there is somebody behind us, never mind. We have a front end lift here, which does quite a good job of lifting the front of the car up, which of course is its purpose. Okay, it's a little greasy. Oh, there's the sun. The sun is coming out. That's fantastic. What was I saying? Oh, the front end lift, very good. Very convenient location. Works great for driveways, other sort of things you have to lift the front. Quite nice. Otherwise, though, the MC20 is quite reserved when you aren't pushing it hard. This V6 is, for one, hand-built in a sealed factory by Maserati technicians that are very particular, obviously, about how things are done. And the idea of a handcrafted V6, sure, whatever, I think it adds just that much more flair, having a name, Nettuno. It's hand-built in Italy, and I don't love a V6. I would, of course, like this thing better if it had a V8 or something with more character, but I don't mind this powertrain. It's a very quiet engine when you're not pushing the car, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. This is one of, if not the fastest car I have ever driven. I've never, besides a McLaren, haven't been in anything that delivers its power in such a way, and listening to those turbos just engulfing air. It's quite the experience. And I'm short shifting there. This thing revs to 8,000 RPM, which is pretty high for a V6, but it's funny, you're driving this car and you feel like you need to shift at like 6,000 because you feel like you're out of revs, but you still have 2,000 RPM to go. Yeah. We've also got a camera rearview mirror, makes it easy to see out of. Otherwise it looks like, well, that's me, but otherwise it looks like that. So nothing. So it's nice to have the camera. Get this back to where it was. Nice. Quite a high definition camera as well. Crispy downshifts. Very nice. Okay, we're behind some traffic. Let's go into drive. Let's go into GT mode. And let's just kind of cruise this MC20. And talk a little bit about what this car means, because as we know, Maserati has made the pledge to stop doing internal combustion engine vehicles, and I love that they've decided to go out with a bang with the MC20. It's a pretty cool statement, and I'm kind of sad because Maseratis have always been about the flair of their powertrains, and we're not going to have that anymore with this next generation of Maserati. So this is kind of the swan song. It's the last new model being introduced with internal combustion. So it feels really cool, really special that I'm able to experience the MC20 at all, let alone experience two, which, funny enough, and this is a little bit of a nerd moment, so I apologize, but the white car that I drove and this red car are one VIN apart. So they left the factory together. How sweet is that? The California car and the Michigan car, they've met before. I've met them both. It's just kind of a cool thing. That's the kind of thing that I like with cars. The ride, not bad at all. It really hasn't been beating me up the past couple of days. That has something to do also with these seats, which are quite squishy and quite comfortable. If you like to be beat up, you are able to opt for some full carbon bucket racing seats. I have sat in those, objectively worse in every way. I mean, I would have these seats, their memory, their power, they're heated. all of the good things that you want. So I would just go for these seats. If you're strictly tracking your MC20 though, you do have the option to go for the other ones. Additionally, the road intrusion, it's a little loud. Man, what a shame we have so much traffic today. That's okay. We'll go to the next part of this road. Hopefully we'll be able to open it up a little bit more. What do you guys think? Can we catch the Scion XB? Quite a bit of intervention there from traction. Instant shifts from this 8-speed DCT like no other. Man, the Scion is moving. Look at him go. Yeah. Show them how it's done, Scion XB. Oh, man. Let's give him some room and let's listen to these twin turbochargers. Quite intense turbo noise there, and it's just hysterical. This is like a baby Ford GT. Granted, I've never driven a Ford GT, but if you don't have $1 million to spend on a Ford GT, this may be something to take a look at. Now, speaking of money, we touched on how MSRP on this car, probably about $300,000. But I want to talk about something that all Maseratis do, and that is depreciate. This MC20, or not this MC, well, I guess this MC20 and all other MC20s have already started to depreciate. They've only been out for a year. When these cars first hit dealerships, they were asking like $50,000 over sticker. So there were some poor souls out there paying $320,000, $350,000 for their MC20s. Now these cars are trading, based on the last couple of comps on Bring a Trailer, for just over $200,000. The last one was sold, it was a yellow car. It sold for, I think, $250,000, and it had close to a $300,000 MSRP, so about 50 grand under sticker. So a little bit of a hard hit, but honestly, we can't say we're surprised. It is still a Maserati. Oh no. Oh, did I do this? Might not be canceled. Yes, might not be able to say the M word in here. That is possible. The way in which this car accelerates is otherworldly. Oh, okay. Yeah. This may be the fastest. Maybe the fastest car I've ever driven. Headphones falling out. All right, let's hit some corners in this thing. Okay, yeah. Front end turn in, quite nice, telepathic. However, the brake pedal, sketchy. It's wooden, but not in a good way. You really have to get into that brake pedal for it to do anything. Okay, yep. Fuel cutoff there at just about 8,000 RPM. It's a strange sensation though, because Nettuno is so quiet that even at 8,000 RPM, it doesn't make a ton of noise. I would say it's the loudest between 3 to 5,000, but there's no drama. There's no cracks and popples. There's no farts between gear changes with this DCT, and I can see the kind of grace that they were trying to achieve with this car, the classiness. Part of me though wishes that it was a bit more obnoxious in that way. Luckily though, we have those twin turbos to provide quite the soundtrack. That's what I love about mid-engine cars, is everything's right behind you. This isn't as dramatic as the Porsche 718 GT4 RS that just has everything basically inside the cabin. There is a wall between you and the engine in the MC20. As you can see, there's a piece of glass. So the engine isn't in the interior like it is in some mid-engine cars. Watch out, birds. Okay, yes. I had a display up here earlier that showed me my tire temperature. I don't know how to get back to it, because this controls the left side. Oh, maybe it's this. There we go. Okay, so that shows me my temperature now for my tires. Oh, let's show you this too. You can actually make your entire cluster a map, kind of like an Audi. If you hold the button on the left stalk here. Oh, that just reset the trip. I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. Boomer trying to work electronics. There we go. Okay, so this now makes the screen the same map that's down here. So if you'd rather have the map, you can have it and do something else on this screen. So that's kind of neat. Additionally, your little monitor on the right-hand side, whether you have boost or tire temperature or whatever, it stays. So that's neat. Let's hold menu out of that. Trip computer back up, I guess. This is the second time I've reset the trip, so I have no idea how many miles I've put on this car. Sorry, Maserati. But anyways, additionally over here, tire pressure, tire temperature, nothing. Or you can have brake and throttle pressure. You can have a boost gauge and a torque gauge, which is cool. I like to have this because I like to know the temperature of my tires in this car. Let's do this. Okay, that's enough. That's enough of that. That's good. Yep, we're good there. I'm going to be filled up to the windshield in my own excrement if I ever do that again. Oh, wow. I told Emily before I left, I said, don't worry, dear, I won't turn ESC off. Anyways, let's finish out some final thoughts here as the sun comes out. Yes, we finally have a bit of sunshine here for the MC20 to show off this Rosso Vincente red paintwork. Ah, what a good day. What a car. I know I've probably given some little bit of mixed feelings here on the MC20. I'm a fan of this car. I like the uniqueness. As I said earlier, I think it's the most beautiful car on sale right now. And I appreciate that Maserati's going out with a bang for their ICE cars. Oh, that's intoxicating. Maserati, I love you. Thank you for sticking around as long as you have, building internal combustion engines as long as you have, making some of the best sounding cars ever made. And thank you for making this. I will never, this is another one of those cars I'll never forget. And there's soul, there's DNA. It's just, it's good. It's a really good time. Oh. Go my earmuffs. Just remember the town I am approaching. Should calm it down a little bit. Hope that is not an ossifer behind me. It might be actually. Oh, it is. It is an ossifer. That's not good. Or wait, no, it's not. Is it? Ladies and gentlemen, we may be getting flicked by the Rossers. What do we think? Is it the Rossers? Anyways, let's go ahead and wrap this review up just in case I'm about to be relieved of all of my money. I love the MC20, and I'm just thrilled to have been able to experience this car. And I really hope that's a Taurus SHO. I really, really hope so. Do you think people in Taurus SHOs get off on making people think that they're cops? I bet they do. A little bit of an anxiety-ridden couple of days driving this car, and that is, of course, one of the downsides of driving a car like this is just, ooh, God, and you're worried about a tree branch scraping it. We're going to use the front end lift to get us up into this parking lot. That is just a Taurus, regular Taurus. We're good. Let's get up here with that front end lift. Oof, and breathe. And breathe. We're good. All is well. Let's put ourselves into reverse with the button. I hope you guys understand me by this point and how I feel sometimes driving these cars. Okay, that's going to wrap it up here for the MC20. I probably forgot to go over some things. I was just trying not to crash, so hopefully you all appreciated the drive here in the MC20. Let's shut it off, put it into park, hop out, and take one last look at this beautiful, let me say it one more time, please, Rosso Vincente MC20. Yeah, okay. What a car. What a fabulous piece of engineering, design. What a statement. Cool. Well, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to Maserati for letting me have a go in the MC20. And at the rate of depreciation, I may be able to buy one of these very soon. Probably not. Anyways, thank you all again so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.